The Chicago Sky have made their first round of roster cuts. Who didn't make the cut? We'll talk about it all and more on today's Chicago Sky Central.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chicago Sky Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. Real quick update. This one just came down about a half an hour ago. Sorry I couldn't get it out to you guys a little bit sooner, but the Chicago Sky have waived Tilly Boler, Arella Guirantes and Sammie Puisis. So those ladies will not be making the final cut. I don't think there's any really surprise here that they are going to make the final roster for the Chicago Sky. I had my hopes for Tilly Boler. I think that Tilly is a player that can absolutely fill it up. She can be a bucket, but unfortunately, the Chicago Sky have tremendous depth at that guard spot. So it was always going to be tough and difficult for any guards to really make this roster. It really does highlight the fact that this is going to come down to a battle over the forwards, right? The forward is the backup forward position is really the position battle that you're looking up for here in the remaining two preseason games. But this is unfortunate, man. Tilly Boler actually had a pretty solid game as well when it came down to it. In that first game in very minuscule minutes, but I think she put up 7 points on like 2 shots, something like that. But like Tilly Boler was the one that I was looking at on this roster that has a lot of upside still. You look at what she did in college. Not to say Arella and Sammie don't also have tremendous upside, but it was just you always have your own kind of personal player that you like to see kind of make the roster. And in the WNBA, these jobs are tough to come by, right? And that's really what this highlights overall is that it's really hard to make a roster in the WNBA. There's not that many jobs. Now, with more teams coming, we got 2 more teams coming next year. There's going to be more and more opportunities for ladies to make a WNBA roster, but it's just really tough when it comes down to it. So, unfortunately, these ladies will not be moving on. They will not be on the team's preseason game. And, Tyler Marsh made that decision to not make any cuts prior to the first game, where a lot of teams do make their first cuts. So getting it the day after the team's first preseason game is not too surprising. You're probably going to get some more cuts, maybe 1 or 2 more before the next preseason game, but Tyler Marsh may do it to where after every game is kind of where he whittles that roster down a little bit to shrink in that rotation and to kind of figure out who's going to make the roster. So unfortunately, it is what it is when it comes down to it. I think overall, like the Sky have a lot of depth on this team this year. And that depth, and we already saw kind of the benefit of that depth in the first preseason game a little bit, right? Like, so this is a very difficult roster to make this year. And that's just how it's going to be, unfortunately. So we got Cameron in the building. Says, "Sorry, what's up, guys? What's going on, Cameron? It's just me today. I think Steve-O's at work, so it's just me. Got to increase the roster spots, man. Really thought Tilly was safe. I mean, listen, there's especially with the number of guaranteed contracts that the Sky also have out there. There's just not a lot of roster spots on this team. So, Tilly being at the where we're the deepest at guard, right? It was always going to be kind of an uphill battle. When you look at the number of guards that the Chicago Sky have, right? Let's just look at it. Guards that are still on the roster. Alex Wilson is still on the roster. She's a camp body. I doubt she's going to actually make the final roster, right? That she's gone. Haley Van Lith, Ariel Atkins, Kia Nurse, Rebecca Allen, Mariah Jefferson, Rachel Banham, Courtney Vandersloot. We got tons of that's 8 guards I just named. Keep in mind, roster spots in the WNBA are 12 ladies. So it's going to be really difficult as a guard to make a Chicago Sky roster because we just have so many players at the guard. So it's difficult. 3 more. One of them going to be Jessica. Oh, yeah. I'm surprised she didn't get cut, to be honest with you. But yeah, you're going to have to cut 3 more ladies off this roster. And Sky going to figure it out. Hi, Chicago. What's going on, brother? Glad to have you in here. But, that's just where it stands at, man. So we'll continue to see what the future is going to hold for the Sky. I'm really excited about this roster. The first preseason game, now that we're kind of, a little under 24 hours removed from that first game, there was a lot of promise in how the offense worked. A lot of promise in it. And I'm really excited to see how this is going to continue for the Chicago Sky team. I really am, man. I think Tyler Marsh has already put together. You can already tell the difference in just the minutia of the offense, the flow of the offense, right? It just has a different kind of flow that we just didn't have last year offensively. Like it was really came down to Kennedy Carter creating or penetrating and, let the chips fall where they may at that point. And so it already seems like this is going to be an offense that's going to flow a lot more seamlessly together. So, we'll see what happens when it comes down to that. But overall, like I said, not any shocking cuts really here when it comes down to it. I don't think that's a surprise. And the Sky just gonna have to keep cutting. I mean, we're gonna have to get the roster down. We got 2 more preseason games. Gonna continue to get a look at both our preseason games against the Minnesota Lynx as well, which is gonna be really good games. Kind of see the balance and how the roster continues to shake out, right? But when you look at it, like you could pretty much guess who's gonna make the Chicago Sky's final roster. Like I said, I don't see Alex Wilson making it. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong on that one. Um, yeah, I don't see her making it. Mariah Jefferson has a guaranteed contract. I mean, you can waive it, but we'll see what happens when it comes down to that one. Jessica Carter, I don't see making it. So that's 2 right there. And Morgan Birch. I don't see Morgan Birch making the roster. I think Maddie Westbeld has already shown in that first game that she's going to be ready to contribute. Now, maybe you keep Morgan Birch around because she's a little bit more of a veteran, things like that. But I think Westbeld is going to be more than ready to play backup forward to both forward positions, actually, both defensively and offensively. So I think you can pretty much guess who those next cuts are going to be. KJ says, "What up, Drip? So I started watching the W because of y'all. Appreciate it, but I'm still learning. Do you think we legit have a run in the playoffs this year? I definitely think we have the ability to make the playoffs this year. Like, I'm not going to talk about it as a certainty because you want to see how things are going to shape on paper. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at last season, before all the injuries that just plagued the Sky's roster at the end of that season, we were on pace to make the playoffs. So you've definitely improved the roster. I think you can already see there's going to be a much better and better flow and balance offensively. So I think the defense is going to stay the same, if not get better. So I think this Sky team does have a playoff berth in them this season. I just, you want to make sure to watch how things are going to go, right? Like I've been spurned by Chicago teams before, in preseason hype, and then it kind of falls by the wayside. So we'll see how that's going to continue to go. Yeah, then 3 next cuts, Alex, Jessica, Birch. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious that those are going to be the next 3 ladies that are cut. But hey, we've been surprised before, right? An injury could really change some things. Don't overlook that, right? So that could change some things, but I think if you're betting right on the better odds, I think those are the 3 ladies that you're probably assume are going to be cut. Morgan Birch had a chance if I think Maddie just showed that she's ready. And I think that's a really good thing. Maddie is ready. So and the Sky are going to have some difficult decisions to make next year too. Think about this: they got a first-round pick coming in next season. Savika is coming over next year. I think they said for sure next year. We'll see how that goes. She's still only 19 years old. She'll be 20 years old next year. But the Sky are going to have some difficult decisions to make on the roster next season, as is every WNBA team with the salary cap rising and things like that. I think you're going to see a lot of that when it comes down to it. So. But overall, really excited to see what this team has in store for us this year. I think this is going to be a really fun season. We'll keep in mind we're going to be live during the game. We're going to be live over on playback during games this season as well. Most of the Sky's season is on national TV, which is completely new as a lifelong Sky fan, right? Literally since about the Sky started as a franchise, it's always been difficult to watch Sky games. You're not going to have to worry about it this game. When we're talking about national TV, we're talking about they have several ESPN games, several ABC games, games on Disney Plus, right? They got, of course, the games on Ion, Prime Video. Like, it's not the Sky are going to play Wednesday at 2 p.m. and it's going to be aired on Twitter, right? Shout out to my Sky fans who remember those days. Like, those were the days where, like, literally it was aired on Twitter. That was like the actual airing place for the game. That was the planned airing place is on Twitter. That's how far we've come, not only as Sky, but as a league, right? And that was just 2 seasons ago. That wasn't like we're talking about 8, 9 years ago. We're talking about literally just 2 seasons ago that the games are literally aired live on Twitter. Like that's what we're talking about. That was literally the planned destination for games. So, the WNBA has really come a long way already. And that's really big. The WNBA app is free too. Well, you need League Pass. Now they do have, I think is it the WNBA app games of the week? I think it's 1 game a week that you can just watch free on the WNBA app. But you need League Pass for a lot of games now too. Not every game is free on the WNBA app. So there is that. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really nice season for the Sky. But just wanted to bring this quick update for you guys, man. Let me know what you guys think on everything down below. Make sure you're following us at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, Chicago Sky Central at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. See you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.